Hi, I'm Pat Snyder. There are many great things about being a senior, like spending time with grandkids or seeing the world without having to worry about the rat race we spent so many years in. For some, it's a perfect time to pick up a hobby or finally get the house in that perfect condition. It seems, though, as we get older, the more we want to do, the less our body is willing to keep up. But just because life is taking its toll on us doesn't mean we have to give up and roll over. There are a lot of options for those of us that need a little extra help from time to time.
News Channel 7's Central Wisconsin Spotlight presents the Senior Living Show.
In this special edition of Central Wisconsin Spotlight, we're going to delve into the world of senior living. We'll hear from experts and get inside information about making the most of our later years. Hearing loss is a common sign of aging. Sometimes it's so gradual we don't really notice it. Maybe the volume on the television that is comfortable for you is a bit loud for your spouse or loved ones in the room. We spoke with Jesse Castor of Hearing Advantage to find out what you can do about hearing loss and why treatment is so important.
Hearing loss can affect somebody dramatically, and oftentimes, the individual with the hearing loss doesn't even realize that it's affecting their lives because it does, happen very gradually. One of the things that happens when somebody has a hearing loss is they start withdrawing socially. They start avoiding situations you're really used to enjoy. It also starts affecting relationships because communication is the foundation of any good relationship. And when you factor your hearing loss in there, it can affect your relationship with your spouse. It can affect your relationship with your children, your grandchildren. It can even affect your relationship with your coworkers or your employer. Aside from the social implications of hearing loss, it can also cause some other issues. Number one, when you leave a hearing loss untreated, it actually starts causing something called auditory deprivation. Now, auditory deprivation is a sad part of hearing loss that most people aren't aware of. And what I mean by auditory deprivation is there's a difference between what you hear and what your brain is capable of understanding. Somebody may say fish, and the person starting to experience auditory deprivation may hear the word dish. And what's oftentimes identified is when people wait for prolonged periods of time to get their hearing treated, they'll actually start losing their ability to understand human speech. And what that does is that minimizes your ability to get good results with correction later on in your life. And that's one of the reasons why we go out and teach and educate in the community, is to encourage people to get help sooner than later so that they can have better long-term results. Hearing aid technology has improved significantly over this last couple of years. The technology has improved drastically in not squealing and whistling when you get a hug. It's improved drastically at working in social situations, so when you go into that social event, you can not only hear but also understand. It's improved on telephone. You don't have to take the hearing aid out anymore on the telephone. It works nice. It's also improved on its intuitiveness. And what I mean by that is you can be in a quiet room, loud room, out in the noise, in your car. The hearing aids adjust automatically to those environments. The new hearing aid technology is highly water resistant. And the new hearing aids are automatic, so you don't have to be using dials and buttons all the time. To treat somebody's hearing loss, what we typically do is we do a full comprehensive hearing examination. That requires taking a social history, taking a medical history. We do a full audiological examination, including finding out your hearing thresholds, your speech testing, your sensitivity testing. Then we go a step beyond that. We actually teach and educate our clients about their hearing loss. We teach and educate our clients about the options available to them. We also feature free service for the life of that hearing instrument, and that's one of the things that's most critical in any type of an experience when somebody purchases hearing instruments, is the service that comes behind it. Because when somebody gets a new hearing aid, it's pretty easy to make that individual happy. They're experiencing all kinds of things that they haven't heard for years. They're experiencing pleasures in life they haven't experienced for years. However, is the having the staff and the service available to keep that hearing instrument and the person themselves working at their peak performance for years and years after the date of purchase. At Hearing Advantage, we're very passionate about what we do. And the reason we're so passionate about what we do is because we can see just the incredible difference it makes in people's quality of life. Hearing Advantage, your hearing healthcare, one-on-one, face-to-face, your knowledge, our technology, where we work together to change one life at a time.
If you or a loved one is suffering from hearing loss, please contact Hearing Advantage today and make an appointment at one of their several locations throughout central and northern Wisconsin. Knowing when help is needed can be difficult. Sometimes as we age, we tend to get a little set in our ways. We're proud of our independence and don't want to give it up. So what options for help are available and where do we start? We sat down with Robin Smith from Assisted Transitions to talk about the signs that help may be needed and the different options seniors have.
There's a lot of factors involved in looking for signs that your loved one may need some care. Obvious signs are, now they're not taking their medication, they're not refilling their prescriptions, housework isn't getting done, lawn care is not getting done. You can look in the refrigerator. Maybe the refrigerator has a lot of food in, but they're not eating, or food hasn't been thrown out. During conversations, they're losing track of the conversation, forgetting names, birthdays. Maybe there was a death of a spouse recently. That could have been the major caregiver in the relationship. 1 out of 3 people aged 65 and older fall at least once a year, but only half of those are being reported to their caregiver. So the factors that we think are obvious, we may not be aware of. The hardest thing is making the decision as a senior that we may need help. As a senior, this can be very stressful to lose the things that we hold dear. But sometimes health and safety needs outweigh the ability to live without help. The best thing I can do to help people with that transition is to educate them on what's available. People generally aren't aware of all the senior care options that are out there right now. Being from home care, staying in your home and being taken care of, to independent senior living, all the way up to assisted living and memory care. There's a lot of misconception out there that we all have and that we all grew up with about a nursing home, how cold and damp and a hospital clinic setting. And that's just not the case anymore. These facilities in Wisconsin being built every year are tremendous. Just because you need some hospital care doesn't mean you have to give up all your social activities or independent living. You still can do your shopping, you can still do cooking, you still have an apartment to take care of. And most facilities will have their own beauty parlor, movie theater. Some even have a tavern or an ice cream parlor in them. They take shopping trips. What we do at Assisted Transition is try to match up your social, economic, geographical, and physical needs with the perfect facility. We'll set up a meeting to do a personal assessment. And in that personal assessment, we're going to find out as much as we can about you. And after we put that assessment together, that's when we go to work. We're out there on a daily basis, assessing and touring these facilities. So we're going to try and find the perfect match for you. And what we'll generally do is find 3 or 4 good matches, and then we'll go ahead and set up a tour and actually pick you up and take you on those tours if necessary. I'll actually supply you with a list of things that you may want to ask and look for in your tour. Some of the obvious things are, is the staff interacting? Are they engaging? Do they know the residents by name? Does the facility need updating? How clean are the rooms? Are they all eating together? Is the facility a match for your physical and health needs? Is it a match for your social needs? After we've toured all the facilities, our work isn't done. Hopefully you've been able to make a selection. After you've made that selection, we're going to help with the transition process. We're going to help with any paperwork that needs to be done between the community and yourself. It can be a tremendous burden financially. Assisted Transition can help with the resources in the senior community, whether it be legal or financial. We can lead you in the right direction. And actually, we can help with finding a resource for the actual move if need be. After you moved in and you're adjusting to your new life, I'm going to follow up and make sure your needs have been met. The best thing about Assisted Transition is it's a no-cost service to you and your family. I do all the work and it's no charge. We really are a resource for seniors.
That was some great information. Remember, if you or someone you love is in need of help, Assisted transition services are available to you free of charge. Call Robin today to set up a consultation. Sometimes help is not an option. It's a necessity for some, especially those who need full-time respiratory care or rehabilitation. And as diseases such as Alzheimer's or dementia set in, life can become difficult for not only a senior, but for loved ones as well. Finding the right quality care can be difficult. We visited North Central Healthcare to talk about raising the bar on the quality of life for seniors in these situations.
I think families, when they look at a nursing home, they think it's a very bad place. You know, my life ends when I get there, and that when their loved one is still living with them, they really take on the role of the caregiver, and they take themselves out of maybe that position as the wife, and they take over as being a caregiver. I think a lot of care for many, many years has been about fitting people into a mold and saying, this is when I think you should eat, this is when I think you should go to the bathroom, and this is when I think you should go to sleep. Well, for a farmer, you're not going to get that person to stay in bed until 9 o'clock in the morning and then tell them to eat. They're used to being up at 4 a.m. That's what their whole life has always encompassed. And we need to change the way that we care for them and make it what's right for them. North Central Healthcare has 3 specialized programs in Mount View Care Center. First is North Winds Ven Community and Short-Term Rehabilitation. Second is our Long-Term Care Program. And third is our Dementia Care Community, which is called Legacies by the Lake.
At Mount View Care Center, we specialized in person-centered care. We take a comprehensive approach to the person and their needs while they live here. We focus on the medical needs, but we also focus on their personal needs. We strive to make our community a true family. And the residents just thrive because we focus on each individual and we take a whole comprehensive approach to all of their needs while they are here.
We offer our residents pretty much the whole package. We have recreational therapy, which really is based on their likes and dislikes. We also have occupational, physical, and speech therapy, which is really focused on getting the resident to their highest functionality. We have other really great services, including our pool that a lot of the residents use. Family members can use it. We also have massage therapy, so that relaxation, the multisensory environments for those residents needing a little extra care.
North Winds Ven Community is a unit in Mount View Care Center, and we focus on providing the care for ventilator-dependent residents. We are one of the 4 ventilator facilities in state of Wisconsin, and we have had excellent success in being able to liberate a resident from the ventilator dependence.
Legacies by the Lake is a program, and our philosophy behind our care is that everyone, no matter if they have a disease or not, has a legacy to fulfill. So even if you have dementia, you still have a legacy. You still very much need to fulfill that. And we here, being able to take care of them, it's our privilege to help them carry out that legacy. Mount View Care Center is nationally recognized as one of the best nursing homes in the country. We also have received the 5-star rating from CMS, which is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. The measure of quality here isn't just about our ratings and the number of stars that we have. It's about the way that people feel when they walk in the door. It's about the way a family looks and sees their loved one acting and behaving and interacting with people. It's about, it's about that feeling you get when you walk in the door, the feeling you get when you visit your loved one and you can sit at ease knowing that they're well cared for and that they like being in the place that they are.
As you can see, quality of care is truly important to you and your loved ones, and North Central Healthcare is there to provide you with peace of mind. Give them a call to set up a tour. If you ask most seniors what is important when help is needed, most of us would say that staying independent and in our home for as long as possible. But what if you or a loved one still needs help? home care is an option for seniors that can range from simple help with chores to in-home nursing. We sat down with some folks who had the pleasure of working with kind-hearted home care, and here's what they had to say.
Through my personal experiences, I found that the people wanted to stay in their home as long as possible and that they needed care, and I've always wanted to help people. At Kind Hearted Home Care, we offer housekeeping services, so we can come in and just do your house cleaning. We can do meal prep, laundry, taking people to and from their doctor's appointments or running their errands, anything to keep them in their home as long as possible, but not just for elderly. We offer services for all ages.
We needed to have immediate care for my father, who was in the hospital, and we knew he could not come home and be by himself. So that's why we were really urgently looking for someone to help. We called Diane, and she immediately knew that by the next morning she could get someone over at the house, which we were not thinking. I, in my mind, thought, oh, it'll probably take at least a few days or a week before we could arrange that kind of help. But it wasn't. It was just overnight. And they had people all lined up, so when we got him home, there were people there, which was wonderful.
Ago that we first started using her service. She was coming in to assist my wife, who was in the early stages of Parkinson's and felt that she needed help with cleaning and so on in the house. And she reached the point where she really needed somebody 24 hours a day to help her move around, get to the bathroom and so on, and I couldn't really do that very well for her. She does everything that has to be done. I'm not involved in doing the housework, and she's very self-directive, so I don't have to supervise her, which I don't want to do and probably wouldn't do a good job of anyhow.
I thought that the people needed another option in our community in order for them to come to a place where they would feel safe and secure, and their loved ones could drop them off here, and they could have that social interaction that they may be lacking at home, whether they're isolated or fighting depression or dementia.
We actually worked with the community care of Central Wisconsin, and they connected us here with Kind Hearted Care and also with the Adult Social Center. And that has been one of the nicest things to happen. I mean, my dad can come here, he walks in, and it's like you hardly even say goodbye to him, and he's out there doing, or in here doing things already. And he's just like engaged immediately. And it gives us a sense of security knowing that we can actually get up, get out, leave, do what we need to do, and we know that he's being taken care of in a wonderful way.
It's a state certified program, so it's structured in a curriculum type setting where we do mind stimulation and group activities, we have a lunch, and we do crafts and exercise, and they really enjoy coming and we enjoy having them, and it's definitely a socially interactive area.
Kind Hearted Care provides exceptional care for anybody with any type of disability. My sister is a young woman and she needs that extra care because of her disabilities, and they have clients of all ages, and the quality of care they give everybody is amazing.
As you can see, home care doesn't just mean having a nurse come in. It is so much more. If you would like a consultation to see what options are available, please call Diane today. Living at home may not be the answer for everyone, but where do you go for help when you don't need the full medical care of a nursing home and don't want to pay for a live-in care worker? We spoke with Gail Wilkins at Pine Ridge Assisted Living Center about the benefits of assisted living and who this option is right for.
Assisted living is a housing and healthcare alternative that combines independence and personal cares in a community kind of setting. One misconception is that we are a nursing home, which isn't the case. Assisted living is different in that a nursing home generally is a place for seniors to go when they need a little bit more medical attention, where assisted living can be just general needs for people that are a little more independent and don't need so much medical care. There are a lot of different types of assisted living and different licensing that goes along with each different assisted living option. So it's really important that when people are looking around to find out what services that facility offers and what kind of licensing they hold and what kind of resident they take care of. At Pine Ridge, we offer 3 meals a day. We offer housekeeping and laundry services. We do provide transportation to doctor's appointments and other appointments that a resident may have. We have activity programming and 24-hour-a-week staff. And we do just tailor the assistance for their activities of daily living, such as bathing or dressing during the day as well. It really varies on the person and what their needs are. Some people come in and they are really concerned about safety. Some people are just looking for the friends and socialization and the activity programming. Others need help with medication management or need help preparing meals or laundry services. And then we have residents here who go all the way to the end of life and maybe need some end-of-life care or hospice services as well. The affordability of assisted living really is manageable when you break it down. Where a nursing home can be in the $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 mark per month, assisted living can be half of that. And when you're looking at the cost of care per hour, you know, as far as hiring someone that might need to help you in your home, when you break down the cost of assisted living, it can be as low as $4 to $5 an hour for that caregiver. There is county-assisted funding that every county has. So you just go to your local Aging and Disability Resource Center and they can help you with that. Certain people do have long-term care insurance and we accept that. So it's not just private pay funding that we accept. There are Medicaid and things that we do work with. So it's not just that you're spending down all your dollars for assisted living. If you have any doubts, you should just really come in and take a tour. You'll see that we have some great things to offer. Pine Ridge is a family-owned and family-oriented facility. We really strive to care for each resident individually and to provide the best services around. The residents here really like the family atmosphere that we have. Just not being a corporate-owned facility, you can really feel that here. We have owners that are very involved, meals that are well planned out with the residents. We're not so budget-minded, we're more resident-focused, and we really want to make these people happy. So we like to say that we're a lively group and we like to keep people happy, and we really want this to be a good place for people to retire. So. We have 2 facilities in Wisconsin Rapids and Colby, and people can stop in at any time to take a tour. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they could also call the facilities and set up a tour as well.
Thank you, Gail. Here are the numbers again for the Pine Ridge Assisted Living in Wisconsin Rapids and in Colby. No one likes to think about dying, but it is something we all have to do. We all have lost friends and family, and it's hard to let our loved ones go. Having a formal plan ready in the event of your passing can make it easier on your family in their time of sorrow. We spoke with Mary Boyd of Peterson Kramer Funeral Home about the advantages of pre-planning.
Sometimes until you've actually been in the position of having to plan a funeral, you can't fully appreciate what a gift it is to your loved ones to have made advanced plans for funeral arrangements. And I'm not saying the conversation is necessarily an easy one, but it's a necessary one, and that's what we at Peterson Kramer are here to do, is to help guide you through every step of the way. This way you and your family members both have the peace of mind knowing that your wishes are put down in writing and they will be carried out to the best of our ability at the time of need. Well, what we do at Peterson Kramer Funeral Homes when a family wants to prearrange their services is sit down with the family, and we're all about options, offering them every option that would be available to them to personalize the service. And I think it's important to keep in mind that Funerals today are so very different than they used to be decades ago, when most funerals were virtually the same. There was a wake or visitation and a very traditional funeral service, followed by a burial in a cemetery. And today we do have endless options available for the family to personalize the services. And unless an individual makes those wishes known before their time of death, that responsibility falls to whoever is left behind to try to make their best guess at what their loved one would have chosen out of all those options. And so many times we sit with families in the time of need, and they're trying to make their arrangements for their loved one, and they don't have a clue what their loved one would have chosen, even the simple things as far as would they want to be cremated or buried full body. And the whole process would have been so much easier for the family, especially during a time of emotional stress surrounding the days following a death, to have had those things all laid out and written down in advance. Certainly there's a very simple direct cremation, which would be on a lower end on the cost scale, to a full traditional funeral service, which can range anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 or more dollars for the service. And having those funds set aside in advance in an account that can potentially earn interest and help cover those costs at the time of death really eases that burden on the family members that are left behind. Pre-funding a funeral means basically that someone has set aside funds in advance specifically for paying for their funeral expenses at their time of death. And really the goal is to protect a person's assets should they need to apply for medical assistance in the future. For example, if an individual needed long-term medical care or nursing home care and there was danger of depleting a person's personal savings, any funds that they had set aside irrevocably to pay for a funeral in advance cannot be counted as an asset when medical assistance determines their eligibility. And those funds are set aside specifically for the funeral. They can't be taken away from that person for any other reason, and they will be used to pay for the funeral and only the funeral. Peterson Kramer Funeral Homes and Crematory has been serving Central Wisconsin for about 100 years. We are a local, family-owned business. We have 5 convenient locations to serve the entire Central Wisconsin area. We have 2 locations in Wausau, one on the west side, one on the east side. We also have a location in Marathon, one in Athens, and one in Edgar. Also have our own on-site crematory, so regardless of the options a family chooses, from a simple cremation to a full traditional service, once your loved one is entrusted to our care, it remains in our care through the entire process. If you have any questions or you'd like to set an appointment to come in and talk about prearranging a funeral, all you have to do is call 715-845-6900, and that reaches any one of our 5 locations, and we'd be happy to help you.
For more information about pre-planning or to start the process, please contact Peterson Kramer Funeral Home today. Well, I know we have given you a lot of information to think about today. Remember, the people that we have talked to today are here to help you make living as a senior the best possible for you or your loved ones. If you have time to contact them, a phone call never hurt anyone. If you're tech savvy or know someone who is, go online to WSAW.com and click on the Central Wisconsin Spotlight button. There you can rewatch this program in its entirety and find direct links to all the people on the show. We hope you have found this show informative and full of the information you needed. For Central Wisconsin Spotlight, I'm Pat Snyder. Happy, healthy senior living.